So our upcoming challenge is going to be a little bit different to our previous month where we've been working on our strength and our stability. This month we're going to be trying to work on building our mobility, particularly around our hips, knees and our ankles. So we're going to try basically taking ourselves down into a deep squat, and then we're going to practice getting into that position for the first week, and then we're going to try and build on some variations of doing that movement. So for our deep squat, we're going to try and take our feet a little bit wider than our hips, and depending on what your ankle mobility is like as well, when we get you to do this, we might get you to pop a pillow under your heels as well, or you can fold it in half to make it a bit thicker to lift your heel up even further, and that can sometimes help you with the depth if you're struggling a little bit. So then from here, we're going to come and take yourself down into a deep squat. So you're going to sit your bum all the way down into that squat, and then we're going to try and see if we can practice holding ourselves here. So you can take your elbows into your knees, try and keep your head and your chest up. I'm just going to try and practice coming down as far as we can into that position and then taking ourselves back out of it again. Okay, so if you can't come all the way down, like I say, we can try lifting your heels up and see if that helps, or we can just try doing our squats and just seeing if you can try and start getting that range a little bit deeper and see if you can start sinking a little bit lower into your squat from there. Okay, then what we're going to start doing is we're going to add in a little bit more mobility work. So we're going to try doing, on our next week, adding a twist through our hips. So we're down in that deep squat, and then we're going to add a little bit of rotation side to side, so we're mobilizing into those hips that little bit more. And then we're going to try adding in a little bit of rotational work, so we can stay down in that squat, one hand's on the floor, and we're going to see if we can stretch our other hand up to the ceiling as we hold that squat. And then we're going to see if we can practice coming in and out of the squat from here. So we can take our hands onto our toes or onto our ankles, and then from here we're going to see if we can take ourselves up, stretching the backs of our legs, and see if we can bring ourselves back down into a squat from there. So into that extended position, and then back down into our squat from there. So we're going to try varying our positions as we come into that deep squat. So mobilizing into our hips, knees and ankles, and we're going to see how far we can go. Obviously, we're aware that some of you do have sore hips, knees and ankles, so you might not be able to come all the way into that position. So for those of you who might struggle with that a little bit more, we're just going to try and work on getting you as far into the range as you can, obviously keeping it within comfortable limits for you. So don't worry if you can't come all the way into the position. We'll give you some variations. We're not going to make you go into that position if it's too much for you. But it'll be interesting to see if we practice this one, if we can improve our flexibility and our range of movement through our hips, knees and ankles into this position over the course of the month. So that's our challenge that's coming up. If you want to give it a practice before we start, feel free to. But obviously, like I say, we'll be running through just trying to get into that position in the first week when we start from next week. So can't wait, and hopefully you enjoy this one this month, and you'll be pleased to give your shoulders a bit of a rest after all those side bends.